And so this is the awkward portion because there's like a 10 or 15-second delay where I'm waiting for this to go live, even though somebody's probably watching us now. And so I'll monitor the chat as well while this is going on. And then, yeah, we'll talk about whatever comes up.
Cool.
Because that is the whole idea.
Okay, there I am on your Facebook.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
How you doing today, brother?
Hey.
How many days in a row is this live for you?
Oh yeah, I can use this as my day.
Yeah, this is totally
5.
Day 5 live, man. You're covered.
5. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So let me tell you about my ridiculous day.
Okay.
So my wife and I's biggest challenge is scheduling. I want to be 15 minutes early to everything. McCare seems to want to show up whenever she wants to show up, which is usually about 15 minutes late. Love you, McCare. And so we're attempting to have this. We started doing our weekly check-ins and stuff. And there was some friction today about timing. What's up, Larry? The story's about you, brother. And so I put Charlie to sleep for nap time. And here, let me turn my notifications off. So today I'm putting Charlie to sleep and I have a client at 1:30 and I fall asleep. I'll put Charlie to sleep and I wake up at about 10 minutes to 2.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I wake up and it's like, like that.
Yeah.
I look at the thing. It's like, no. And I'm like running up. I'm opening the garage. I'm calling him. Are you still here? He's like, no, man. Is everything okay? I was like, ugh. So it's just like this weird thing about how I'm stressing about the schedule, yet I fall asleep while putting my daughter to sleep. So it was like, as my wife and I are like talking about it and figuring out how to not let that happen again, and finding out how to make it up to Larry. You met Larry last week, so
sure,
it was like figuring out how to make that up. And but then I couldn't help but think about how I was like self-fulfilling my own prophecy.
Sure.
By falling asleep with my daughter. So, but at the same time, like oh man, it's such a challenging situation. So that was, that's what's led me into this call today. So
okay, nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I had a thing last night around 11 o'clock ish. I heard this noise. It sounded like it was raining. I'm like, what is that wet water? So I go downstairs. I hear this dripping. Then it sounded like a shower. I go in the living room. And water was just like pouring from the ceiling onto the floor. I was like, oh my God, it was water wet. I mean, it was horrendous. I don't know if like the bathtub was left on or something happened. And I go upstairs, the toilet underneath, a valve cracked and the water was just shooting. The smaller bathroom upstairs was just shooting on the ground. I don't know if it's going on for half an hour, I don't know. And it just—
This is in Hawaii Kai.
Yeah, the house in the back, in the guest room in the back. Flooding.
Oh my goodness.
And then the living room and I mean, it was just a nightmare. So I was like, of course, yeah. But I just, I'm like, okay, let's do this. I just, boom. Yeah.
That is so hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's right up.
I don't
and then just, all right, what's the next step? Okay. And,
yeah. What's the next step?
Call the insurance, take pictures, let it dry. The painter's gonna have to come and redo the ceiling, all that stuff. And that's it.
It's so funny too. I wonder how much that valve costs.
I mean, it's really a couple bucks.
Yeah, it's probably a $2 part.
$2 part.
It's so interesting because I imagine that house is like $3 or $4 million house, and a $2 part probably thousands of dollars of damage. Yeah. And it's like, what can you do? What can you do? I mean, you're not going to sit there and put a watch on this $2 part that's inside the toilet. Holy shit. I love that context though, or even the contrast more so, just to like look at that to be like, oh yeah, it's only $2. This is inconsequential. But like that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
So there was that. Yeah. A lot of things just shooken up right now, but you just learn to go with it. It's almost like life, everything we go through, life just prepares us for this next moment, And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
It's so, man, it's fascinating.
But I tell you, these lives though, very fascinating.
Yeah, man.
I had no idea.
What if so you're doing this Facebook Live thing, which I remember I did this is probably a year and a half ago or so that I was like, I'm gonna do 30 days on Facebook Live because I hated being live.
Yeah.
It was like me and you talking back and forth. I can do this for the next 3 straight days.
Got it.
But for when I was doing live by myself and just like looking at that little green light, I mean, like, oh, it's just me and you, little green light. I would just like completely shut down. And I'm sure.
How long ago was that you were having that experience, that you were doing that?
18 months ago, probably a year and a half ago. And so I remember like telling myself I'm going to do this for 30 straight days. And now I don't even care. I just get on. I'll talk for 45 minutes by myself.
I'm waiting for that moment. Because I still want to go to hit the button. I'm like, or I'm staring at the screen and I'm like talking to myself, like what I'm going to say. I'm okay, just do it. And then I hit the button. It is getting easier though. Yeah.
So one of my most awkward experiences on Facebook Live, and this is, again, like a year and a half ago when my business was kind of like, it was like starting to take off a little bit. And I remember going on there and setting up and just sitting there. I was like pressing that button. And I'm like, I don't want to freaking go on this. And so then I was just on there. I was just like, I don't want to do this. I really don't. I was like, and you could see it in my face that I should go look at this video and see if I kept it up there. I don't know if I deleted it after the fact. And then I remember this woman came on. Her name's Nina. And her and I did some work together a couple of years back. And she's like, hey, Ryan, what's going on? She's like, I'm watching this video and it looks like you're struggling. She's like, is this a Q&A or... you know, what's up? And I was like, yeah, I don't really know. Like, I'm just here. I told myself I was gonna do this for 30 days. And I guess maybe my intention wasn't good enough, or maybe this is just part of the growing process. And then her and the people watching just started asking me questions. They started asking me questions, and then it just kind of like pulled me out of it. It was really interesting, but I remember coming off there feeling so grateful. And I know you and I have talked about this, and because I was definitely, I'm going to go there and be live and I'm going to say something stupid and people are going to judge me and all this, you know. And then all of a sudden, because I was putting myself out there, there were people that were just there to support. Like, we got you. Like, hey, tell us about this. Like, tell us about that. And it was just such an interesting experience. And then I think I remember taking a day off after that and being like, 30 days, we challenge ourselves, and sometimes these challenges are super powerful and positive, and sometimes they can be really benign and like, why did I pick this number?
Totally. And after that, like, why did I do that? But I wouldn't have followed through if I didn't create the follow through with the challenge and say it publicly. I would have done
saying it publicly is huge.
So I'm like, so I'm like, I'm going to do this because this is what I do with my clients. Like, by doing this, you're literally changing neural pathways in your brain and your body, like literally. So I'm like, well, I'm going to do it real time in this format to share what I'm doing. And so I'm looking forward to kind of going along, getting more courageous, maybe doing some more wild things with it, maybe like go live on the streets and, you know, ask someone a question or something that I would normally not do. Like, I want
that idea
there.
I love that idea so much.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's the first video you did, I loved that, how you set the context. You're like, hey, I'm super uncomfortable and this is why, and you were like explaining. So what's the lesson, I guess, that you're most excited to teach people about what's going on in your body as you're placing yourself like feet first into the fire? Like, what's the lesson you're most excited to share with people?
One of them that's showing up, that's coming to mind, is about just regulating yourself or your nervous system and actually feeling what's going on. So not just projecting out there or just thinking in here, doing that, but also like somatically, some of the body, what's the feeling going on? And you can use that feeling to follow as a gateway to what's really going on. So there's something with not just up here, but also feeling what's going on. And then also learning, because that's the nervous system having a response, but also learning how to regulate. When you're dysregulated, when you're all over the place, there's an art of learning regulation to bring yourself back and to feel that. And the more you can learn that, the more you can weather, because you're going to get thrown curveballs in life. It's just part of the, it's just part of the deal.
Fucking toilet, man. Like, talk about a $2 toilet part. Just like raining. Like, oh man, that's such a perfect example. Like, hey, guess what? Toilet valve's going to break today. Cost $2. If you would have magically looked at this the day before, you could have saved yourself thousands of dollars. But just life doesn't work that way. fortunately and unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's somewhere in there. That definitely regulation, the nervous system. Some of the I'm just because I spent so much of my time in like the spiritual realms, like everything
Right.
everything happens for a reason. We're all one, and trust and all of that, and all the woo-woo spiritual, which I love woo-woo spiritual too. But I was neglecting, like, we're in physical forms with brain chemistries and subconscious and the nervous system and like that's been passed down for longer than we can even imagine. So I'm really bridging the work of the science, the brain chemistry, the nervous system, the fight or flight, the fear, the response. We've been carrying all that, and then merging that with the spiritual to come to a holistic approach to just being ourselves and sharing who we are and getting in touch with purpose, which that word is kind of like you know, a very
cool on memes
term. Yeah, but there's something to it. It's, to me, it's the emotions, the behaviors, the things that light us up, and we can do that in our lives, in our jobs. It's a pretty amazing thing. Yeah. And it's getting closer to that voice.
What's the first thing you like to teach your clients? Like, what's like the basic thing? Because I think me and you are on similar page as far as belief structures go. And I the first thing I like to teach people about is fight or flight and like cave in versus cave out. Like, you know, you have food in the cave, it's completely safe. And now the food is getting low, and now the cave is dangerous because there's no food in there. And now you kind of have to go out into this thing, you know, like you can stay in your cave for super long time, and it's super easy to stay in our caves these days because Bite Squad. So, you know, and it's super easy to stay in, but that can get dangerous. Like that can teach us. So on like a baseline level, what's the first thing like you would like to go through with clients and teach them about so that they can get to? So me, I like to start with the cave and then end up somewhere in or around the multiverse. Like, and that's like,
I mean, I'm probably say the same thing. Like, what's on your plate now? Like, what's active right now? What's going on now? Really, what are you doing? What's going on? Where are you at? What are your triggers? What do you like? What's alive right now?
I love that. What's alive right now?
Alive right now, and it could be on either spectrum. You know, heavier, darker, or the lighter, whatever it is. Okay, this is where we're starting. We're starting now because everything's happening right now.
Yeah. What's alive right now? I love that question. That's a cool question. And because I love the broadness, yet the loadedness of it all at the same time. Because it'd be like, oh, my fear is really coming up. Or I'm really excited about this thing. So it's like I love that as a starting point. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So that, and then often there's a pattern involved that is sideswiping or distracting, or you're moving along and then just something comes in. You know, because I do think like our stuff, especially the older you get, it's like the same, very similar. Like I can write down like point by point, like where do I run, hide, escape, avoid? What are my cycle? Oh, I'm here again. Up, like I can write it down. I think most people it's pretty much locked in. Yeah, which is a good thing because you can that our stuff repeats itself over and over again. It's great because it has a pattern and you can look at it if you're willing to.
And knowing that pattern is so valuable.
Yeah.
So valuable. Yeah.
And then know how to break it. That's a whole other thing. The willingness to break it. What's in it? Are you doing trauma work? Are you doing what's the approach? If you're not following through, are you finding support? Are you able to ask for support? What does accountability look like? Putting these all together.
I love that. What does accountability look like too?
That is such a huge, I mean,
it's in the Navy, we talk of like integrity is such a huge word in the military. Like, hey, I told you to go do this. Did you do this? Exactly the thing. And so I think that's how integrity gets packaged in the military. Like you receiving an order and you carrying it out. Like, how is your integrity? Or integrity, like talking about a ship, like, are there any leaks in the ship? But so integrity too, like what does integrity look like to you, or what does it mean to you? And to really help people flesh those definitions out and to help them own them. Like, oh, this is what accountability means, but I'm also doing all this flippant stuff. It's like just hammering apart my definition. That doesn't
cycling around.
And then again, that cycle that you're talking about, and that cycle, how it, you know, protects us to a certain extent, probably on the, you know, at the lowest level in the physical form, you know, keeps us safe to a certain extent that way.
Yeah,
You know?
protection is
everything.
This brain, reptilian brain, is like protect, safe, you know, even if it's dysfunctional and causing you harm, even if you know it's not healthy for you, if it's safe to the brain and the thing, that's it. It'll literally,
so
that thing will kill you, literally.
It will.
Like, if you're putting poisons, it'll literally kill you if you're not on top of it, or you know, a slow death. I love when
you can
said,
go ahead.
Leaks in the ship. When we're looking at this as a ship, there's leaks of energy, leaks of maybe our mindset is old beliefs that aren't serving us, or we want to go here, but our beliefs are keeping us here. Yeah, and discovering what those leaks are is
such an interesting.
Oh man, I mean, and then you add the accountability, you add the support, it just starts coming together, and you get the wheels on the train are like.
The accountability and the support is, I think it's one of those things that people don't realize. It's one thing to know what your leaks are. So Chris and I mastermind together. We meet every week with a couple of other people to share what our leaks are. And it's one thing to be like, all right, I know what my leak is. Cool. But it's a whole different thing to be like, hey, Chris, this is my leak. And then Chris is like, gotcha, bro. And then 3 days later, he's like, hey, bro, you're leaking. What do you mean? What do you mean? No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You are. You told me exactly what it was. I'm watching it. The floor is wet. It's behind you. And so that accountability piece, not only to yourself, but to other people, and then being able to share that and to receive support would be, man.
Yeah.
And it's like some advanced stuff.
It sounds simple advanced. And like, when you're in it, it is very advanced.
So advanced. It's so advanced.
Yeah. And then having people around you moving in the same direction in their own way.
In their own way.
And honoring each other's own way and voice and each one's gifts. That's cool in the mastermind. Like when I see you in action and sharing, I'm like, whoa, you're doing your thing. I got it. And Jason's like asking his questions. Whoa. And he's doing his thing. Really when I'm doing my thing. Yeah. But when it comes together and we're all kind of moving in that direction, it's like, wow.
I think that, it's a really cool. So the mastermind, I kind of want to talk about this and just kind of explain what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
So people can, because I feel like in order to be in flow with other people, you have to figure out at least a certain amount, like what flow feels like for you as an individual, and to be comfortable enough with that flow to able to bring that into someone else's space and be like, oh, cool, this is what we're doing, you know, and just to kind of, man, it's so hard to explain. I read this book called Stealing Fire. I just like bring this book up a lot. I don't know if you've read this before, but it's kind of a human, what's the performance? Like they talk about human performance, another book that that was by the same authors, like Creating Superman. And it's a lot of research but they talk about like Navy SEALs, which is like the least woo thing that I can think of right now. But they talk about this thing called team flow and being so intimately involved with each other and so knowing each other on such a level that you can just something about the other person's movements. You're like, oh, that guy's got it. Like, just kind of like they changed leadership roles. Like 6 men walk into a building and the one guy's in charge. And then all of a sudden somebody else notices like the goal updates in his head based on the information that he's collected. And they just kind of, it's like ants. Like we have fucking ants crawling our window and into our sink like every other night. And just to watch, if you watch the ants, the way they go and the way they all run into each other as they're going by to pass that information along. And if you disrupt one of them, they'll bump into the next guy and shift the whole flow of all of it. So it's
yes, stuff. Man. Yes. What else?
I don't know. Amy's bringing up symbiosis, and I think that's probably a part of it. But I think that the symbiotic part of it is just like you have to. Yeah, Amy, we've talked about this before. talked about how like, and I think the mastermind, we're seeing this, how we have to be able to show up and we have to be able to give and receive both positive and negative, and just be completely open to that. Because as soon as one of us shuts down, if one of us, with the whole, like, whoa, the whole group's like, whoa, something's off.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's a really interesting thing.
Yeah. I like, when I've been doing my side note, my lives,
Go
if
for
I see someone pop on, I'm not ready yet even to like respond to no one's like comments. Like I'm so focused on that. I'm like, it's just like too much for my brain to like, I can't deal with that. That's my next question.
No,
But
it's all good.
It doesn't seem like a big deal at all.
No, it's not. And we have a handful of like regular people that come in and drop comments here and there. And Amy and I do some work together as well. And so it's actually really interesting. A lot of the regular people who come and check this out, I've done work with. So this is like an extended part of that symbiosis or symbiotic thing that she brings up. And so you're in this conversation, one person, and me and Chris are talking about this. Oh, Amy's here. Amy, do you remember when we were talking about that thing? And then she's able to like freely interject her piece.
Absolutely.
And then every time that happens, it's like like Jason would say, like you're the 30,000 foot view, you're bringing it up a little higher and you can see it. I'm getting some sort of weird audio feedback too. I don't know if it's me but it's all good. It's whatever. So yeah, I don't know, man. What else do you want to get into? What else is coming up?
I don't know. What else?
What's been going on lately?
You know, it's been interesting. This is very random. I've been having this extremely strong pull to be in New York City, to move to New York City.
Go on. Like, tell me more.
Like at it, like boom. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but
no.
Yeah. It's this thing for the last 4 years. As I'm setting up things here, I'm going to spend, I want to spend a month or two there at a time because I can work. But like recently, like this strong pull, like I need to be there, even though it's winter. And the winter thing kind of freaks me out. I don't know if I can handle all that. I mean,
where are you from? Texas?
Long Island.
Long Island. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Florida, and then I've been around, but so I grew up there. I grew up going into the city. I have a lot of connections, and there's something about the city that I love. It's very powerful for me. And when I was there 6 months ago, I was there for like 3 days, and it's like vroom, all these contacts and these people, just like do. Like things happen really fast that city if you're connected and plugged in.
Right.
So it was like it's just been hitting me strong. Now, is that whether it happens or not? I don't know. A week from now, I'll be like, no, that was a passing thing. But I just love when it shows up. I'm gonna honor it. I'm gonna feel it. I'm gonna like, what is this? What's in here for me? I don't need to push it down. Oh no, that I can't do something like that. I'm like, no, bring it. So that's
what's the reluctance to just go?
There's just some details of logistics,
mechanical.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm letting
interesting.
Yeah, I'm just letting it unfold.
What about it do you feel is the pull? Or is it just the location energy thing right now?
I think so. I think Hawaii. I mean, I love Hawaii. I mean, it's brilliant here. For me, it feels it's so I can just blend with this energy and slow down. And I'm at this point where I just want to go. I need like energy and people and fiery and like, and I know when I go to the city, it's like boom. Even I went through 6 months ago, and I lead this personal development workshop called Authentic Relating with the LGBTQ community. And I literally set up a meetup.com group in New York City 2 weeks before I went. Almost 300 people joined. I found a space. I had a meetup there all within 2 weeks while I was traveling. It just like, I met really awesome people. It was like, whoa. I know.
That's so exciting.
And because I've been building community here with what I've been doing, I know I can just take that, go there, and just and create community. Because here it was, I'm just like, it didn't exist. I'm like, well, I'm going to create it. I can do that. Yeah.
It's so interesting because how many people are in New York City?
Is it 7, 8, 9 million? Something like that.
7, 8, 9 million. And I think here, like in Honolulu, the population is like a little less than 1.
I think it's a little over 1.
A little over 1. And then I think we have like anywhere from 400,000 to 800,000 tourists here at a time. Isn't that crazy? That's such an insane number. Oh,
Mhm.
to me, oh, 4 to 800,000 or something like that. No, I love that. There's something definitely exciting about the setting up a meetup group and 300 people join like within a week or 2 weeks.
And then do,
And
yeah,
then somebody's like, oh, we can totally use this space. It's just people are craving leadership so much. And
yeah,
somebody's like, I'll lead. And they're like, let's follow that guy because he raised his
yeah,
hand. And literally it's the difference between this and this.
yeah,
It's such a fantastical thing and how small. And again, it's like the toilet valve.
yeah,
It's literally like all it takes, all you have to do is like raise your hand and then boom, you have followers. It's just like that. It's so, man,
totally,
that
yeah.
really is exciting.
And
And
I've
I
always
love
been the
fall
follower. I've always been
wardrobes.
the follower. I've always been kind of just
Mm-hmm.
go along, and then it's like
No
shifting.
mas.
No
No
mas.
mas.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, so
exciting, man.
that's kind of huge. But I'm in a place because I've moved, I've before and whatnot, that I could in a month, 2 months, just okay, it's time. But I realize it's gonna big moves like that, it just reveals itself and things just
Yeah.
kind of line up. So I'm wildly open to it. And I have a place to stay already. My aunt lives out there. It's all like set up. So I just love the openness and the receptivity. And I have to see though, where though, is it going to require me saying, no, I'm going, make it happen? So it's a fine line where before it was like, oh, just wait for a sign and just see what's going to happen. And if it opens up, and it's worked like that. But
Yeah.
now the game is changing a little bit. Now the game
Mm-hmm.
is more, is that what you want? Well, then you go create it.
Yeah. Well,
You
you
go make
said it
it happen.
yourself. I used to follow, now I lead. And so I
So
bet you, I
I'm
imagine
doing
it's
my
like,
own
yeah,
leadership
you're
of my
leading
own
your own
life.
thing. And so the universe is like, all right, cool. Prove it. You
Yeah,
know?
there you go.
McCare and I, after Pippin was born, she was born a little over a year ago, October 1st. And we had like this strong, we call it indigestion now, where we were like, we got to move. We got to move to the
Mm,
mainland. This is too much. We miss our
mhm.
family. They're never going to get to see our children and da da da, like, and stuff like that. And we started looking for places. We told a lot of friends we were going to move, and we didn't know when it was. I think we thought were going to move in the summer.
Yeah.
So according to us, we would have moved 4 months ago.
Okay.
And I'd say so that was like October, end of October. And then we had Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's all at our house here where we mastermind at. And we had people over and we started telling people on Thanksgiving, like, yeah, we're thinking about moving. And I
Yeah.
remember walking into the kitchen while McCare is telling one of our friends, Natalie, who was on here 2 weeks ago. And I remember walking in and she looks at me and she's like, why would you do that? Just
Mhm.
like that, just like that. Why would you do that? And it was just like, oh, well, because reasons or whatever. And then
Yeah.
we had like this continuing conversation. And then we had Christmas and we had people over again for Christmas. And then we started to really realize that this was really the place for us because
Yeah.
when we were like concerned about family not being here, like we have
Mhm.
like our really island ohana or whatever you want to call it, our family
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
that we've created
Yeah.
ourselves. And it's just been like a really cool experience. And we still think about it. I think if there's months where business isn't great and
Yeah.
we're like looking at money and
Yeah.
you make some money and then the rent comes in and you're like, man. And so it's just like that's like a cool conversation for McCare and I to have
Yeah.
because I feel like all the places that I would want to move, she wouldn't because she's like an absolute hard no for winter. And all the places she
Yeah.
would want to move that I would like, I don't want to spend 110-degree summers.
Got it.
And so it's just like this
Yeah.
thing. And so it's like, man, like, what do we do? And how do we compromise? And how do we collaborate? And then it just kind of turns into us like, oh, well, how can we make business better and bigger and more powerful so that here isn't a struggle? And
There you
so it's
go.
just interesting how those things work and how that energy presents itself and then what it turns into,
Yeah.
which is oftentimes something much different than we originally
Yeah.
expect it to be.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Hmm.
New York. I love New York. It's one of those, it's a cool place.
Yeah.
And it's you can explore that thing every day. For
Yeah.
you could literally, I believe, because of the way that New York evolves,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be willing to say that it's that's one of the things that has different from here. Like just like you said, Hawaii has that slow down, it's chill, tropical energy,
Yeah.
which is hard to duplicate. But New York, if you went out with an explorative mindset, like I'm gonna go find something new today,
Yeah.
it's so easy to do that there. But then
Absolutely.
again, it is one of those places that's like, if you're from New York, it's a little easier to be plugged into that network. Like you really have to find that right place.
Absolutely.
Man,
Yeah.
I would say that's similar to here too, as far as local kind.
That's true. I think
Hmm.
actually my friend Barrett posed this that like Hawaii and New York, they're like related. They're different.
Yeah.
They're different
Yeah.
energies. But like Hawaii is just a powerful
So
powerhouse
powerful.
energy. The mana here, it's it's so strong. It's a whole different ball game strong, but it has its thing. And New York is just a powerful energy as well. It's a different type of form of energy, but they're just powerhouses of energy. Yeah. But the thing with New York, I have to be very careful or aware and stay very present because you can get lost in all the noise in the city life and it can be a lot. And I'm
Dude.
very sensitive to all that stuff too. So
Hmm.
because I'm more Hawaii vibe, but I have to be careful.
Hmm.
But in the my of following through with my practice, my sleep and my spiritual practice and my eating and my discipline and have that keyed in really properly. Yeah.
Hmm.
And my discipline and accountability and all this chop wood, carry water in my daily practice, really dialing that in
Hmm.
so I can plug into that energy
Yeah, yeah, it's a really
properly.
fascinating thing. And
Otherwise, it can get kind of out of
Amy
control.
brings up the architecture, and she calls it a no hesitation place. And I think I would think that's a really great example. Like it's if you sit there and if you want to go for the flow, you're gonna run over just by pedestrian traffic.
Right.
No, you're just gonna get run over. And
Yeah.
people expect you to move too. Like there is
Yeah.
a definite the
Just
flow
like,
there. That's so
yep.
fascinating. I love the correlation and the contrast between the two,
Mm-hmm.
and how different they are, but how similar they are at the same time. Because
Yeah.
there's a definite energetical vortex here, or
Right.
whatever they call it. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I've been to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's a cool
Hmm.
spot, man. You
Yeah.
got anything else? Anything else?
No, I mean those are the main things. Just
Yeah.
this live thing yeah. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to now doing my next live alone because
Yeah.
it's just practice.
Yeah. It's
Just
just practice. It's
and I'm
practice.
excited about it because I'm excited. I'm breaking through something that makes me uncomfortable. I'm already more
Hmm.
comfortable with it, and then the
Yeah.
possibility, if I'm more the chatter and that protective layers are just more cleared, then I
Yeah.
can show up just being me more.
Yeah.
I can just
5 days. 5 days, people. 5
5 days
days.
of
5 days
28
is
days.
5 of 28. But
And
still, after day 5, you're like, oh yeah, this isn't so bad at all.
yeah, so I mean, I'll be breaking out in song. I'll be like
Yeah, I'm
all the
excited.
crazy stuff on the street, maybe or maybe not.
Cool, bro. Anything you want to plug before we hop off?
um, yeah, if you want to check out my website, abundancebridge.com. My passion, I do clinical hypnotherapy coaching, powerful work, amazing work, doing my clients. That's even the bigger thing is growing that business.
Yeah, the
That
business.
is because I've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that work for the last 6 years, like on the side, but after hundreds, if not thousands of hours of practice now, I was always afraid to
Right.
like, bring it out, to go just to do it as my full-time thing. Oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then it really just like it forced its hand. It's like, here, your clients are getting results. I'm helping people heal from like thousands of years of generational trauma. I'm growing from it. There's all these pieces and people are all showing up to support me. And it's just happening on its own. I wasn't pushing enough to do it. So I was building in me till it's like just starting to burst. And now I'm attracting all the perfect pieces, all the characters, all the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like jumping in and I'm like, oh, wow. Growing a business it's an amazing thing. It's really healing too.
Oh my goodness.
You're
I
facing
can
all
think of
your, yeah,
no way. If you want to
battles.
be in your personal growth every single day, like put your name on
Yeah,
something and go make money by doing it. Like it's pretty
name
nuts.
on it. Yeah.
Oh man, it's really awesome. But it's my favorite thing ever. I love it. McCare and I just talked about I just talked to somebody via Messenger last night, this morning, that wants to do a couples thing in my work.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking about bringing McCare, and I've been talking about doing a couples thing for couples specifically that we both kind of collaborate on. And so we're really excited about that. She's going to mastermind with us on Wednesday, McCare is. And so that's going to be super cool to, yeah. And so it's interesting how I think cool thing I love about the mastermind too is like, I'm totally going to go do this because this is going to grow my business. But then as you start to pull that string, it like takes a hard right turn to this. Be like, oh, this isn't what I expected at all. Like, so, but it's so interesting how, you know, be brave enough to pull those strings and follow those signs and raise your hand and
show up. And
show up. Chris, I appreciate you being here, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah, easy. I'll see you day after tomorrow, right on?
Yeah. See you soon.
All cool, right. Later. Bye.
Later. Bye.